Happy holidays, everyone. Matthew Peterson here from Titans Today by Chat Sports. Kind of recognizing the elephant in the room, which has been a little while since our last video on the channel. Got a little busy during the holiday season, but we got a good video lined up for today because it is Ryan Tannehill replacements season. That is where we are at right now with the Titans' future after starting off 7-3, and now you are 7-8, dropping 5 in a row. Maybe ending the year on a 7-game losing streak. Ryan Tannehill and a lot of other things are going to get put into question. So, why replace Tannehill? Maybe that's the first question you're asking right now. Tannehill has had some injuries, and the Titans have been running in place with Tannehill, but I think we should learn something from the firing of GM John Robinson, which is this franchise does not want to settle. And if they believe they can make an improvement, we should not count out the Titans maybe making a big splash trade or free agent signing or a draft pick if they feel, you know what, Ryan Tannehill's best football is behind him. I'm not here to say Tannehill sucks. I'm not one of those guys. I was somewhat of a Tannehill truther back in 2019, 2020, but we got to be honest. He has not been the same quarterback since that real breakout year of 2020, and the last 2 seasons have been underwhelming. But be honest with me. We're going to run through some options via trade, free agency, and the draft and whatnot. But do you want to replace Tannehill? Do you think this team should cut bait with 1 year left on his contract and just start a new campaign for a different quarterback? Or do you believe, you know what, Ryan Tannehill is the furthest thing from a problem on this team? Other issues have to be addressed. We can win with Tannehill. Let me know which side you land on. Before we start moving on from Tannehill, we got to kind of address the possibility of how you want to do so, and that is looking at his contract. So, Ryan Tannehill's contract, $36 million cap hit for 2023. That's a pretty big, decent cap hit. It is the last year of his contract. There are some void years at the end, which is always just GM mumbo-jumbo, but those are there. No guaranteed salary per over the cap. Now, Tannehill, if he were to get cut, there's one important date when it comes to contracts. That is really June 1st. Pre-June 1st, the dead cap hit for the Titans would be $18.8 million, right? That's the scene for Moneyball of the Titans are going to pay Tannehill $18 million not to play for them. The cap savings, $17.8. That's a good amount of savings, though. You could take that $17 million and make some noise and do some damage in free agency with it. If you were to cut him after June 1st, it's a little bit better. So the dead cap hit comes down to 9.6, and it's spread out over the next 2 years, 2023 and 2024. The cap savings is $27 million. Before you all rush to say, cut him after June 1st, here's the issue. You're going to take $27 million in free agency, and all the big names have already been signed because there's not really any targets available after June 1st. They all tend to go in March when free agency opens up. So it's sort of getting stuck between a rock and a hard place. If you wanted to move on from Tannehill, you probably want to go the pre-June 1st route so you can spend some of that money on free agents in March when it matters most. Now, money talks because money runs everything. And this is a lot of cap space that opens up for the Titans if they cut him post-June 1st. So maybe that is going to be a big decision for ownership and the new GM and whatnot of, you know what? Ultimately, we don't want to spend that much money on someone who's not going to be playing on our team this season. We'd rather wait till after June 1st. That is an option for sure. But let's run through some Ryan Tannehill replacements in every single which way, starting with the draft. And that is Anthony Richardson, the Florida Gators quarterback. We'll look at some of these names a bit closer. Richardson, in my opinion, is not a good quarterback. He got the intangibles. We were also told Malik Willis had the intangibles, right? Malik Willis had crazy arm talent and explosive playmaking abilities. And Malik Willis, objectively, has been the worst starting quarterback this season when he's been called on. He's still a rookie. He got put in some tough situations. But Malik Willis would be the most logical type of, replacement for Ryan Tannehill. They drafted him probably with that in mind of once Tannehill's contract is up, 2 more years, let Malik Willis sit behind him, learn, and take over. Now, both have very raw talents, Richardson and Malik Willis. They're a bit similar. The big difference is one's about 6'5", right? Anthony Richardson is a bit of a Ferrari. Huge size, great speed, incredible arm talent. But if you're an SEC fan, you probably weren't all that intimidated when you played him. Go Vols. Anthony Richardson sucks. Now, there's a lot of development that needs to happen for both of these quarterbacks. And with Derrick Henry coming down towards the end of his career, it'd be a bit of a sad sight to see Henry sit on a Titans offense with a quarterback that needs to be developed for another year or two. I would pass on Anthony Richardson because of the draft capital, meaning I don't think he's worth a first-round draft pick. Him and another quarterback we're going to talk about later on, I think are both going to get GMs fired down the road. So for that reason, I am passing on Anthony Richardson. Malik Willis has been bad. There's really no other way to put it. Is it all his fault? No. Right? The offensive play calling in his first or second start in Kansas City was not ideal. But Malik Willis has looked like a quarterback that is just way out of his reach and just in the deep end when he started a handful of games this season, and including one just a couple days ago, which resulted in yet another Titans loss. So Malik Willis, to me, has shown me very little to make me believe that they should stand by him moving forward. And they didn't use a first-round pick on him. You know, it's not like it's a whole financial obligation. It was a third-round pick. They can move on relatively quickly and go, that was a mistake. We're not going to compound that mistake by holding on to him, even though we don't think he has much of a future with us. Next, Ryan Tannehill replacement. What about Jaren Hall, and what kind of package Hall with Mac Jones? So, Mac Jones and the Patriots, this name pops off a little bit more. Now, I don't have a good sense of what New England wants to do with Mac Jones. Your guess may be as good as mine, because Mac Jones, in my opinion, he's sort of in no man's land where he's done some good things. He went to the playoffs, for crying out loud, his rookie year with the Patriots, but he's taken a big step back this second year. And maybe New England decides we want to go and bring back Tom Brady because he's on the free agency market. Mac, beat it. We're trading you to Tennessee. Now, of the four quarterbacks that are on screen right now, which QB would you rather have, right? Which guy do you want to see? Is it one of the rookies, right? Richardson, Hall. Is it the current backup, Malik Willis? Or is it a shocking Mac Jones trade that people don't see coming, but New England decides to cut bait and they just don't like what they have in him moving forward? And the Titans kind of go, you know what? We salvaged Ryan Tannehill's career. How about we do the same with Mac Jones, except we'll do it a lot earlier in his career? Let me know what you're thinking down below. Now, there are some awesome deals still on Fanatics, even though Christmas has passed, including this Traylon Burks jersey on sale. Check it out, chatsports.com/Titans jersey. Now, I put that link for you all in the comments and the description of today's show. Another Ryan Tannehill replacement going back to the draft, that is Will Levis. Do not pick Will Levis. I don't really see what everyone else sees in Will Levis. He is a very polarizing QB entering this draft, and I think he's going to get a GM fired when someone reaches for him in the first round, and it just does not work out. You can't trust a quarterback who puts mayonnaise in their coffee. No deal. Moving on here. What about a whole different direction? What about a trade for someone like Derek Carr? Okay, now we're cooking with gas here. DC has definitely been a bit of a polarizing QB for Raider Nation. There's been some good moments and there's been some underwhelming moments, no doubt about it. Now, when you stack Tannehill to Derek Carr head-to-head, I think these are two quarterbacks that probably get a little bit too much disrespect, and I'm guilty of it. I'm definitely a DC denier, but they've had some great moments in their career, no doubt about it. Derek Carr this season, 24 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Those aren't bad numbers. And Derek Carr, if you did a blind quarterback test, he'd be the guy you'd use, and everyone would pick him and have no idea it's Derek Carr, and they'd be thinking they were picking someone much closer to Justin Herbert's level or something like that. So definitely looking at this one. Also, career stats-wise, this is what I'm talking about. They are decently similar quarterbacks in their career. Entered the league around the same time. Derek Carr, 35,000 passing yards to Ryan Tannehill's 33. 217 touchdowns to 212. Fewer interceptions. Statistically, you have to give the nod to to Derek Carr. You have to give the nod to Derek Carr. Better completion percentage, better yards, better touchdowns, better interceptions. Sure, a bit of a dip in a QB rating, but screw the nerds. I think Derek Carr's probably had a better career. Now, who do you think is better? The question that you really should be asking yourself is Derek Carr so much better than Ryan Tannehill, he's worth giving up a draft pick for? Or do you think, you know what, Ryan Tannehill plus that draft pick is going to net me a better team than Derek Carr without that draft pick? Let me know in the comment section below. How about this replacement option? Geno Smith. Is he going to win NFL Comeback Player of the Year? Can you come back if you were never there? I don't know. Now, Geno Smith is having a career year. He has made himself a ton of money, and he has made the Broncos regret not trading for him instead of Russell Wilson. So with that said, Geno, 2022, 3,800 yards, 27 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Like, those are Pro Bowl numbers. For a year, everyone wrote off the Seahawks. Geno Smith has been fantastic. Here's my fear. Is he a one-hit wonder? I'm not going to call Ryan Tannehill a one-hit wonder. I think it was more than just one season, but maybe a two-hit wonder, right? You're kind of flying close to the sun. Maybe you're going to burn yourself with the same mistake twice of overreacting to a small-ish sample size. Third option here up to bat is Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G is an enigma. I have no idea what he's going to do after the season. I have no idea what the Niners want to do. But I think it's going to be something involving Trey Lance, Brock Purdy, and moving on from Jimmy G, who is a free agent. So, Jimmy Garoppolo so far this season, of course, season cut short due to injury, but through 11 games, 2,400 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. I mean, Garoppolo has always been very smart with the football. His issue is just downfield accuracy and not doing enough to push the ball down the field, and sometimes playing a bit too much like an Alex Smith game manager and not like a gunslinger that's going to win you a shootout battle. This is going to get the clicks coming in next, though. The next name, it's Jimmy Garoppolo's mentor, Tom Brady. Listen, there were some rumors of Brady maybe having interest. Well, that's tough to say. When Brady went to free agency after New England, there were a lot of speculations of where Brady would go. And there's that one video of Brady's like, you're going to stick with that motherfucker? And some people had thought that could have been Ryan Tannehill. Now, Brady this year, as my producer's a Patriots fan, so he's a Brady defender. He was going to say, Brady's not the problem. Brady's awesome this year. It's everyone else's fault down in Tampa Bay. 21 touchdowns to 9 interceptions. Brady's arm talent is still there, right? Brady still has a fantastic arm. The offensive line has been a bit of a disaster for the Bucs this year with injuries. And he may want to decide to end his career with a team like the Titans that has a very stout defense, and he just wants to retire and live in Nashville, one of the best cities in the U.S. That's really the best I got here. Plus, Mike Vrabel, him and Brady overlapped in New England, so they have a connection there, and Derrick Henry's a top 5 running back in the NFL. That might be persuasive enough. This is definitely a long shot. I'd be lying to you guys if I said the Titans had the inside track to land Tom Brady. But you can never rule anything out. Didn't think Watson was going to go to the Browns. We were told Russell Wilson was never going to get traded, so you never know. 10th and 5th on the list, final replacement option is Lamar Jackson. This one, I think, is the best option of all. One, he is really the youngest and most proven quarterback of all the other 10 quarterbacks we looked at here. Right, he's not younger than the rookies, but we know what Lamar Jackson is. And that is an MVP quarterback. He won one for crying out loud. This year, unfortunately, has marked 2 straight seasons with injuries sort of derailing the Ravens' late efforts. But he's still been awesome. 2,200 yards. He's been great on the ground. Don't let that fool you. 17 touchdowns and 7 interceptions. It is unlikely. I think the Ravens will get a deal done. But if not, he is definitely the best option. If you can get Lamar Jackson to sign off on, you know what, a tag and trade, because he is going to be a restricted free agent, so you'd have to do some sort of tag and trade, sign and trade, kind of like the NBA with the Ravens, because you can't just trade a free agent, so there have to be some back channeling to make it happen. But by all means, this rushing attack, by the way, just imagine just 1 year with Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry. They'd rush for over 200 yards. They would never have to pass. They might have to extend the field in Nashville just to have room to throw the football, because every single bit of yardage we picked up on the ground. We talked about 10 names today to possibly replace Ryan Tannehill if the Titans go that route. Who do you think will be the Titans quarterback in 2023? Will it be Ryan Tannehill, or will the new sort of GM and front office decide to cut bait and go a different direction? Let me know in the comments below. And hey, if you have not subscribed yet, tighten up, hit that big red button, and make sure you do so.